Okay, you all, so I'm back. And I'm more back than Arnold Schwarzenegger, if you get my drift. Okay. I promise you guys that, the development of Katrina's character through, kind of, in a sort of proliferation as each installment, as I said, unfolds, will be something to really inhale. That it's kind of so sort of transcendent, the kind of thing that sort of uh, befalls her to the kind of end that she grows because of her attitude to that sort of victimization. And interestingly enough, I shared a bit of real agony she had to endure. I did say Cara Villanueva endured a lot of agony, and you shall hurt no more. But the character of Maria in the final analysis, she endures like, you know, this is a reference to the earlier Superman movies. She endures time in the Phantom Zone. This is what Maria endures, right? Um, and her name is Maria Peterson. So what it is that Maria Peterson is really gone in the sense that, here's what she's doing. She is a slave, a house slave, but still a slave. And as a matter of fact, there's something called drowning. I really talked a lot about investing instead of accumulating when I was, you know, hashtagging World Water Week and World Water Day. That so many fools just like to see money around them, and, you know, have things and stir up their riches on earth. But when you invest, for example, uh, buy healthy food, even if it costs a bit more, get that. You have no idea what an investment. It's an investment. Hello, it's gonna take a little bit extra from you, but that is why it is called an investment, my people. Hello. So the point is that, you know, being a house slave means that you have to see all of this wealth, all of this, splurging, and yet still you cannot touch it. As opposed to all those who are working in the cotton fields day and night, and hacking and picking or what have you. As a house slave, you are humbled even more by the kind of splendor around you which you cannot touch. Right? So we're looking at four counts. The first count is that she's a house slave. The second count is that she uh, begins to fall in love with the Lord of the Manor, who kind of is, or, starts to begin showing an interest in her simply because of the fact that, I mean, of course, apart from the fact that she is, a woman of, uh, you know, what's the word? A woman of, I should say, grace, yeah? Because of that reality of what she is, he's drawn to her. But it's at a turbulent time because he's currently navigating the uncharted waters of dealing with an unfaithful wife, right? Of course, his wife, okay, is like this fool in it. I'll tell you, in the Rosewood Massacre, I'm gonna tell y'all better get with it. This fool who, for some reason, is attracted to, well, he actually happens to be, in my story, he actually happens to be uh, one of the chief, they have stratas even as slaves. So one of the chief, you know, uh, field hands, if you will. And he is over a certain number of, uh, slaves. And so he thinks he's arrived with the tail, right? So all of a sudden, his wife, this is Mr. Stanley, Lord Stanley Nottingham's wife, is doing, okay, help, this fool, okay, Right. Marriage is honorable and the marriage bed is undefiled, but whores and adulterers God will judge. Okay? So now here is Mr. Nottingham, Lord Stanley Nottingham. His wife claims she's going out to soirees with her girls. And what is she doing? Screwing the help. Okay. Okay. Y'all need to. So the point is this: it's really a kind of tricky situation because, of course, Lord Nottingham is kind of like, he's not having that. That's dumb. And, he's in a space where he's someone like Solomon. Like, hey, he can have any woman he wants. Why the neck should he be, tolerating that nonsense? She is not married by any stretch of imagination. She's just a fool. And the parallel I was making of this idiot, this total piece of crap in the Rose Massacre, who ended up getting this black man killed, right? Because she wanted him or some nonsense, but didn't want her white husband to know that it was a willing thing. It sucks. It sucks. These fools. Anyway, moving on. So that Maria is now feeling it for this, her Lord Nottingham. She's always been a dedicated slave, and the idea is that she kind of has a kind of natural womanly instinct in her to be there for him in this kind of comforting way. And but it's tricky, as I said. No, I said that her being a house slave was the first blow. Secondly, understanding that he is in a lot of pain now is the second blow for her, right? Thirdly, the fact that it's gonna cost her. It's really gonna cost her all she has to really, get into a kind of, situation with him, physically. And then fourthly, what happens is that after, yes, it happens, it goes down, she realizes that she has to make a self-sacrifice in order to keep her Lord alive. So it's really like, yikes. I did tell you guys a Phantom Zone that, it's immense, it's intense, and that it's really kind of hard for her, to have to deal with blow after blow after blow. I was listening to Thou Art a Shield by Byron Cage, and a lot of people don't get, I kind of alluded to this sort of sentiment that so many people kind of think that, oh, life's supposed to be easy. Not to the sense that they would say life is supposed to be easy, but when you start getting the blows, when you start getting the problems, you ask God why, or you kind of just are opposed to it in this sort of kind of violent and exalted manner, which God chides, right? That, it's so kind of important to understand that, even in Maria's case, as I said, she is, dealing with all these blows, dealing with lick after lick after lick, and, has to really just really dig deep, because the only way she could do this is from the strength of the Lord. It is His strength that is made perfect in her weakness. And I realize that that is something that we all have to kind of really embrace and kind of admit to ourselves. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, so what I was intimating is that it's a real development of character. And when I say character, I don't mean character in terms of character in a story. I really mean that thing of that elusive quality of person, that is what is called character, is enhanced in a gradient as you go from Lost Last all the way up to Steph Abercrombie Speaks. I remember that in book 7, Steph is actually saying to the king that, she, in other words, this is a Katrina that has been through all of it, been through it all, from Katrina to Kyla to to Cara to Dakota to Maria to, Susie, and finally Steph. She is in a space where she knows who the tail she is, and so she's not taking nonsense because she has developed a faith in God. Not a faith that is in uh, isolation from works, because we all know that if I have faith that I can move all mountains and have not love, I am nothing. Right? Faith without works is dead, love suffers long. Okay? And that the whole kind of paradox and the mystery of godliness really is that you have to be someone who's trying to make it by proving yourself. Yeah? You have to be someone who has a heavy load. Yeah? The Pharisees like their guilt. The Pharisees like feeling bad about themselves, in the sense that they like feeling the pain. They like people feeling sorry for them. So they walk around when they're fasting with disfigured faces and hunched over and all of that nonsense, because they want people's respect. Yeah. Say, wow, that man is suffering, whatever crap. What Jesus is saying is that you have to be someone who is trying hard to have a level of respect, but you find something which is greater, which is love. Which is him, which is love. Okay, when self-contempt, which is the whole guilt, which is a cross, which is self-contempt, turns into self-hatred. Okay, Jesus said, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. The heavy yoke is the cross. But Jesus says that if you don't carry a cross daily, you are not worthy of me. We will have these instances all throughout our lives, as Paul said, where wretched person I am. The things I would, I do not, but I do the things I hate. What a tale is wrong with me. That is the whole attitude, right? So that at the end of the day, the cross is necessary. Why does Jesus say, learn of me? He is not saying, bam, you're in heaven. No, 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 no. Learn of me. The learning never stops. The getting to know God never stops. At the end of the day, that is what it is. And that you draw that connection with, between the whole contempt thing, the whole guilt thing. Okay? Knowing God is going from the horror of guilt to a space of grace. That is what knowing God is all about. Yeah, where guilt turns into grace, where you have sinned and you feel really, really bad, or you have this awful cross where you really just trying and it hurts. To saying, God help me. That's it. Lord, I'm a sinner, or Lord, help me. Same exact thing. That is grace. When you admit that you are only human, but are gracious enough to ask God for his help. Not stupid, So that, the character, the person that sort of emerges as a result of all of this learning of Jesus. The censure is that you always have to keep learning. You always have to keep, going from that space of guilt to grace. You can't have grace if there is no guilt. And that is why Jesus says you have to pick up your cross daily. That's all there is to it. Yeah.